So let's talk about the employment status. What's the difference between an employee and an independent contractor? So employers need to classify a worker as a employee or a independent contractor. And employers in California will often use something called the ABC test to determine if workers in California are either employees or independent contractors. So if the answer is yes to all of these conditions in the ABC test, then the worker is an independent contractor. Otherwise, if there's a no for any of these questions, that means the worker is considered a company employee. So question A, is the worker free from the company's control? If the answer is yes, that means likely the worker is an independent contractor because they're able to work outside of the company. They're also able to make their own decisions and don't have to listen to the company's boss. Usually if the answer is no, that means you're an employee for that company. So, is the worker able to perform work outside of the company's primary business? If yes, to question A and B, then you're likely an independent contractor. And then question C, is the worker regularly engaged in trade beyond the relationship with the company? So, can pretty much, if the answer is yes to all of these questions, that means the worker is an independent contractor. They make their own hours usually. They can form contracts with other companies, not just the one. They can trade with different companies, build relationships, and they can also, sometimes they set their own hours, their own terms for the contract as well. For an employee, that means one of these or all of these questions could be no. The answer could be no. An employee needs to listen to the boss for the company. They have to only work for that company, and they're much more restricted in what they can and can't do. Some examples. So, for example, an attorney or an accountant. If there's an independent contractor, then that means that attorney or accountant has their own office. They bill their own clients by the hour, and they can choose whatever clients they take on. They're paid by the job, and they can also hire a substitute if they don't want to do that job. For an attorney and an accountant that is considered an employee, that means they're usually employed by a firm or a company to handle all the legal affairs or financial records. They attend meetings as needed, and also the firm bills clients but then pays their attorney or accountant, usually with a salary. Let's look at another example. Let's look at a repair person. So an independent contractor, that means the repair person probably owns or rents their own shop. They advertise services to the public. They furnish all their tools and equipment, and they also set prices for their services and collects directly from the customer. So there's a lot more control that the independent contractor has on what kind of work they choose to do. For employees, for repair persons that are employees, they will often work for a shop where the owner will set the prices, the hours, and the days the shop is open. So the employee will have no control over that. And the repair person is also paid a percentage of the work that is done. So why is misclassifying workers such a big deal? So one, employers will incur penalties if they misclassify workers as independent contractors. So it's up to the employer to actually classify the employee correctly. And it's important that you are classified correctly because employees are protected by California's work and hour laws, workplace safety laws, and retaliation laws. Independent contractors are not protected. So that's why it's very important to be classified correctly. For more information, you can visit the Department of Industrial Relations website. If you believe that you have not been classified correctly, then you can contact your employer to ask, or you can also look at the Department of Industrial Relations website for more resources on if you think you are misclassified.